it talks about a star fell from heaven to earth
Yeah.
with the key to the bottomless pit. So this is why these guys and a lot of the buildings they left behind have astronomical associations, because they know that the whole prophecy from Genesis to Revelation is written in the stars. That's how the Magi knew that the Messiah was going to be born, because they knew this knowledge was written in the 12 constellations of the books of the zodiac, and each book has three chapters, and each of those chapters is split down into another 3. So these beings, these supernatural beings, are very, very informed by the stars and aware of them, and thus a lot of the buildings and monuments they left behind have astronomical associations, such as the winter solstice and the summer solstice.
You know, it's funny you should mention the angels and the stars, because when I was a little kid, I remember my mom telling me on one summer night, we were looking at the stars, and she said, each and every star that you see is a window in heaven, and behind each window is an angel.
Well, that's interesting little insight. I never heard that before, yeah. But she was, I guess there was a certain amount of truth in what she was talking about there.
Yeah. Amazing.
Even the Messiah, Jesus, is referred to as the bright and morning star in the future in Peter. And in the Old Testament, Lucifer, his name is Venus, and Venus is the bright and morning star. That's the last star that you see when all the other stars have disappeared because of the light from the rising sun. Venus is the one left. And we're told that in the future, time to come, the Messiah, Jesus, is the bright and morning star.
Is there more than a coincidence, in your opinion, Pat, when Lucifer is called the morning star and Christ is called the morning star? Could this be a metaphor for the binary existence that we have, being that for 0 and 1 is binary code. So if you have 0, 1 binary, you have good, evil, up, down, in, out, Christ, Lucifer. Is there more to this than meets the eye?
Yin and yang?
Exactly.
I'm sure there is, Rob, but I don't know what it is. I think in bygone times, Lucifer, otherwise known as Satan, the Prince of Darkness, but before his fall, he was the bright and morning star, and he was the top angel in the whole echelon of angels created by God. Angels are created spirit beings, but they're also men. Everywhere they appear in Scripture, they're described as men. They look like men. They have been mistaken as men. They wear clothes. They eat. They drink. They get dirty feet, because when the 2 angels come into Sodom, Lot washed their feet. They've got appetites. They eat a lot. Those same 2 guys ate 2 meals within a couple of chapters back there in Genesis 18. But Lucifer was the top guy back then. Before his rebellion, he tried to usurp the throne of Yahweh. And I don't believe he got kicked out of heaven and was thrown down to earth. I believe he's still in this other parallel universe we call heaven. But they're spirit beings, but they look like us. So I'm sure there is a lot in what you say, but I don't know about the binary aspects of it, because math wasn't my strong subject in school, I'm afraid, Rob. Once they started with a squared plus b squared bracket equals c minus, my head just went down on the desk. And
then it's time for a Guinness.
I've never figured that stuff out.
Tell me, Patrick, what do the pyramids of Giza actually have to do with Bible prophecy?
Well, there's a very enigmatic prophecy in Isaiah chapter 19, verses 19 and 20, which has been overlooked by most end-time scholars, students of eschatology, people who love the prophecies. And in this Isaiah 19:19, it says, "In that day shall there be an altar to the Lord in the midst or middle of the land of Egypt, and a pillar at the border thereof to the Lord. And it shall be for a sign and for a witness unto the Lord of hosts in the land of Egypt." So when it speaks about in that day, that's referring to the day of wrath, the day of the Lord, the day of tribulation, the day of his cruel anger, the day of Christ. They're always referring to what we would call the apocalypse, the end days, the last bit of the chapter referred to in the book of Revelation. So on that day, it says there's going to be both an altar and a pillar in the middle of the land of Egypt, and a pillar at its border thereof to the Lord. Now, how can there be something in the middle of a country and its border at the same time. To understand that, you've got to understand ancient history. And in ancient history, Egypt was divided into two. There was Upper Egypt and there was Lower Egypt. And this was divided by a border that run from east to west and west to east. And it cut right through the Nile, where the Nile breaks up into the Nile Delta, which goes into the Mediterranean Sea. And right on that border, right beside the Nile, right on that spot, is the Great Pyramid of Giza. So the Great Pyramid of Giza is the altar and the pillar that this prophecy is referring to. And it says, in that day, in the time of the apocalypse, it shall be for a sign and for a witness unto the Lord of hosts in the land of Egypt. So what is this Great Pyramid a sign of, and what is it a witness to? That's, again, what I answer in my book, The Nephilim and the Pyramid of the Apocalypse.
Were the Nephilim also part of other philosophies around the world, Patrick?
Absolutely. In just about every culture in the world, not just in the Near East, in the Mediterranean in ancient times, but if you go to Egypt, China, they have the same culture, the same traditions over there. For instance, the word avatar. We all saw the movie Avatar last week, or last year rather, a fantastic movie. The word avatar comes from the Indian Avatar Titi, and Avatar Titi means the God who comes from heaven and descends to earth and who mates with mortal women. That's exactly what it means. And in the Epic of Gilgamesh, many of the traditions all over the world, they have many, many similar stories about gods coming from heaven to earth, mating with mortal women and producing these demigods, which are part of their history. And that's where we get many of the statues and the iconic pictures that you'll see all over India, the Far East, China, Angkor Wat in Cambodia, which has Gerudo, who's half man, half beast. And you can tie all these things together with, for instance, the gods of Egypt, like Horus, who was the body of a man and the head of a falcon, or Thoth, who the body of the man and the head of an ibis, and Sobek, which had a crocodile head. All this stuff around the same area can be tied together. It fits like a hand on a glove, Rob.
All right, Patrick, please stand by. You and I have to take our news break and listen to some words from our fine sponsors. We'll be back on the other side. Exo Nation, Dr. Patrick Heron is our special guest. What a guy. www.neph.ie. That's www.neph.ie. And I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break with Dr. Patrick Heron as we continue our discussion on the Nephilim, the Great Pyramids, and much more. We're going to be talking about the Antichrist. This coming up here in the X Zone with yours truly, Rob McConnell. We'll be back on the other side of this commercial break. Whatever you do, don't go away.
Hey, got a better order for the singers here. Thank you.
I've been a wild rover for many a year, and I've spent all...
My name is Rob McConnell, and I would like to tell you about a very special lady that I have the pleasure of knowing, and that's Miss Sylvia Anthony. Sylvia Anthony believes the golden years are a time to gear up and get busy, not relax and take it easy. She has faced many hardships in her 84 years, but they have made her stronger and more determined. As founder and president of Sylvia's Haven, a shelter for women and their children near Boston, Sylvia has helped transform over 1,086 lives in the past 27 years, not only with housing, but also providing direction as to where they can go to develop the earning skills they want and need to live free from difficult domestic situations. Sylvia's Haven is everything to Sylvia Anthony, even calling it her magnificent obsession. Women who qualify for the program at Sylvia's Haven receive assistance via guidance counselors to find the appropriate job opportunity. Women and their children may remain at the housing for up to 2 years. At the end of this time, or sooner, a woman who is successfully employed and has an apartment or home may leave Sylvia's Haven to begin a new and independent life. Now this is where you come in to help make Sylvia's dream into a reality. Sylvia's dream is to have a Sylvia's Haven in every state to help as many women and their children as she can, and to help this dream come true. A crowdfunding site has been established which can be accessed at www.sylviasdream.org. Now that's www.sylviasdream.org. With your financial help and support, Sylvia Anthony will continue to help those in their time of need, not only in the Boston area, but with her dream of having a Sylvia's Haven in every state of the United States. Your help is needed to make Sylvia's dream come true. Please visit and give at www.sylviasdream.org. Once again, www.sylviasdream.org. And remember, the only difference between a dream and reality is just doing it. We need your help to make Sylvia's dream come true. Visit www.sylviasdream.org. Once again, www.sylviasdream.org. For the X Zone Radio TV show and the X Chronicles newspaper, I am Rob McConnell. You're listening to the X Zone Radio Show, live and around the world on the Talkstar Radio Network, X Zone Broadcast Network, UK High Definition Radio, Euro High Definition Radio, and Star Cable. Our toll-free telephone number worldwide is 1-800-610-7035. Our email address, xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv@hotmail.com, and our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com.
Never leave, 'cause I believe I'm in love. Her eyes, they shone like the diamonds. You'd think she was queen of the land. And her hair hung over her shoulders, tied up with a black velvet band. In a neat little town they called Belfast, apprentice to trade I was bound. And many an hour sweet happiness I spent in that neat little town, till bad misfortune came o'er me, that caused me to stray from the land. Far away from me friends and relations, they follow the black velvet band. Her eyes, they shone like the diamonds. You'd think she was queen of the land. And her hair hung over her shoulders, tied up with...
Welcome back, everyone. There's nothing better than an Irish pub any night of the week. Right, Pat?
Absolutely, yeah, with a few pints of the black stuff.
You've got that right, my friend.
And a little bit of Tullamore Dew whiskey to chase it down, Rob. Tullamore Dew, it's as smooth as a baby's bum. And if you put a small drop of water through a Tullamore Dew whiskey, it'll go down your throat like a torchlight procession and light up the toes in your boots, begorra.
Now, I'll tell you, if that doesn't make you want to go to your local Irish pub tonight, nothing will. In fact, I think I'm going to take Laura to the Whistling Walrus tonight for supper. There you go. Patrick Heron is our special guest, a great guy. It's always enlightening to have Patrick with us here in the X Zone. His website is neph.ie, neph.ie. And Patrick, before we went to the commercial break, we were talking about the pyramids. And I was wondering if we could finish that off, because I really want to talk to you about the Antichrist.
Okay, well, basically, very quickly, we just mentioned that the Pyramid of Giza is going to be a sign of and a witness to something in the last days. Let me just give you a little few of the mathematical properties associated with the Great Pyramid of Giza. Now, originally, Rob, it was finished in a polished white limestone. Mm-hmm. The whole pyramid was polished white limestone. So it would have been white, smooth, iridescent, impossible to climb or surmount. It was visible from as far away as the curvature of the earth allowed in those days. It must have been an absolutely amazing sight gleaming in the light of the sun and back in those days. Each side